Hey guys, this is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about if spiritual people should get paid. Because there's a lot of questions about it, and people on the healer side are confused, and people on the other side sometimes get confused and go into the motivations, the money, all those kinds of things. So that's what I want to talk about today. First and foremost, let's take a little journey back through time to the days of the tribal shaman. Through to the native cultures, to the healers, to the wisdom keepers, those energies. In those times, in those cultures, no, spiritual people, spiritual workers, spiritual masters, they weren't paid. It wasn't even a concept because the paradigm, the value structure was so much different. The value was so high for those things, and it wasn't manipulated because there was an honest honoring from the actual people assisting people with spirit, because they were the elders taking care of the medicine people, taking care of the tribe. Like, there was an actual collective unity moving of people wanting to take care of each other for no other reason but for the upliftment, health, and sustenance of the tribe, right, of the community. Now, that's not always the case, but generally speaking, that would be true. And so in that way, these medicine man, healers, shamans, they were taken care of by the community. It wasn't even a concept if they would get money, because that's not how things run. They were always taken care of. They were always given to as a form of exchange because of the value that they had. So now in modern day culture, it's changed a bit because we have this thing called money, which is an intermediary tool that's between us and the value and the other person. So we have this intermediary step. And so it starts to become convoluted or look convoluted when spiritual people then get money. And I feel like some of the pain or like subconscious irritation in it comes from, one, the economic structure that we're not all taken care of, and two, the fact that we've kind of been tainted by world religions that are some of the richest organizations on earth. The Catholic Church, the Mormon Church, all of these organizations are incredibly wealthy. And they are wealthy because people, us, there's so much demand for spirit, for connection, for reconnection, for healing, for truth. Those are things so inherent in us as humans that we will give anything. We'll give 10% of the money that's already like inflated that we don't have to these organizations for, one, the safety and security of, say, an afterlife, or for some hope of that, because we need something, or for something to believe in. Like, that's how much value that spirituality has. Now, it's been manipulated and taken advantage of in so many ways, and so I can see why this conflict comes up, whether it's subconscious or conscious. So as we're going into, say, this segment of New Age or shamanistic, like healing, this kind of arena, on the healer side, I see a lot of healers that can't, like make money, and they don't want to, they're like donation only, and there's like this meekness. And it's really interesting because, again, money is currency, the current of us. It's our value, it's what we have to give. And so whatever part of this wheel that you're on, it's very important to give back and to give, right? This giving and receiving cycle. And so if you have something to give, if you're sharing your spiritual modality and some kind of wisdom that you have gained with another, that person then inherently should give back to you, so that this current, this flow continues to move. And so one of the things that happens on the healer side is the healer stops this because they don't ask for anything. And so then the value system gets blocked, and all of a sudden there's this strange lack of manifestation. So it gets really interesting because I've been on both sides, right? As an offering as a healer and contributing different things to the spiritual world. And I've also been on the other side where I am receiving teachings, I'm receiving wisdoms, I'm receiving transmissions and different healings. And in that time, on both sides, I have seen when people give things for free, people don't show up and rise to the occasion. I've seen that time and time again. When even if it's a donation, it starts to get a little bit sketchy. But if it's free, if someone comes to you and they're like, please, like, I need this, and you're like, okay, no problem, I want it to be available for all, that person doesn't end up showing up, or that person doesn't end up having the transformation. So there's something inherent in investing your energy into it, and your energy is formulated into money right now. That's one of the forms. And so it's like, as you give money, that then can move and you receive something bigger. Now it can go pretty big, because there's like people doing transformational work, say with Tony Robbins, right? And they pay him like $1 million a year to coach him. It takes that much investment to get that much return. Like, there's something about it that they need to invest that much to get the transformational energy. It's really strange. And when I was on that side of it, of the receiving lots of healings and trainings and stuff like that, I would pay my last $150 when I was first starting and I ran out of my corporate savings, to get that last training or to get that last session, if it really felt like an aligned teacher or healer, not just, you're giving away the farm or something and then you have nothing. But I would give that last amount because I knew that would fill me up. It would have some key for me to be fully fulfilled to move on to this next stage of evolution, as well as in that time I was training and becoming coming to a place of being able to offer. So where we're really getting to with this is that ideally we gotta scan back out of individuated dynamics and situations and really look and say, where are we wanting to go as a culture? What are we wanting to value? And in this place, all of you, all of us, we deserve individual, amazing, abundant sovereignty. That's what we all were. It's a birthright. Seriously, it is a birthright to be taken care of and to receive. And so this is what we're doing, but we're kind of having to pull it out of the system, or we're having to be quite innovative and creative about these different ways. And so what happens, and what I've seen, is that people are in the matrix or in the mainstream world, funny enough, receiving money from corporations that are actually hurting the planet. Now, if there's any hesitation in you in say putting money into spiritual people or healing or stuff like that, it's ironic because you go fill up your gas tank. So it's funny that people would have question giving light and higher frequency and that kind of energy. They would, no, I can't do that, but I'm going to go, fill up my gas tank and buy this conventionally grown food. It's kind of a disconnect there. There's something there. So it's kind of funny. But the idea is we're coming to this place of sovereignty. And so it starts we're in the matrix and somehow in this hamster wheel system that's really weird and corrupt. And we're building simultaneously this new system, this self-sustained, that feeds back to itself in a balanced way, right? Rather than feeding all of it to the top. Because so much of life and so much resource and abundance is free. There's so much that actually is free, whether it's the energy from the sun, free energy, all these different things that once you get the system set up, you're good. So we're building this new system. We got this other system, and in this new system are technologies. In this new system are all kinds of solutions to assist the earth. And there's energetic systems, right? There's new societal systems, there's cultural systems, social systems, all these new systems. And so spirituality or spiritual people fit into that category of a new system. They're what they are is they're the bridgers, ideally, moving someone from, say, the matrix or the confines of their own mind or conditioning into this new way of being and operating from this fully empowered and sovereign place. So that's always one way to indicate to you if your healer or a teacher is good, is good for you, and this is resonant, is that person empowering you to wholeness, empowering you to freedom, and empowering you to individual sovereignty in all capacities. And so in this way, we've got this new system running, and it's kind of like someone gets, say someone's over here, and then I've said this on my Instagram story, but there's been so many of my clients and friends and different people from my adventures like leaving their job, like leaving their corporate jobs recently, like a lot in the past month, because they're feeling this call of their mission, and they're feeling empowered enough to do it, right? And so in that space, it's kind of like, so I'm over here, I'm empowering you right now in this video to go, maybe I can do this. And then to figure out your value, your gifts, so that you can get yourself over here. And so it's kind of like the people over here are giving these people a boost, while they're in this system, grinding, doing it, helping everyone. And then these people over here then help pull up these people to this other level, and eventually there will be enough over here to where it's a more dominant system, and because it's inherently balanced and it's inherently abundant, it will be something that thrives in that cyclical, beautiful way, and it won't be imbalanced. So that's kind of like an analogy, a way of looking at it. So we definitely have to help the people in all areas, not just spirituality, but in all capacities that are assisting the new system. And ideally you find those people that are helping the people out, so that you can get helped out. And I have a really good video about this, and value your gifts and currency, that you can go watch, that goes a bit deeper into this subject, because it really is a matter of matching your gifts and your value to your soul mission to what is needed and has demand in this world. Now, this can get a little bit tricky again, because we're going to go into the tricky part, is that if you're over here and you're getting these new abilities and you're having these new awakenings, you're like, oh man, I want to get out of this rat race. And so you're like, okay, well, I'm going to bop over here. And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to become this healer, or I'm going to offer this thing. And it's really important to become fully aware if you're truly ready. Like if you have fully anchored and grounded that thing to truly take another person into wholeness. Now, you don't have to wait until you've done like 1,000 trainings. It's not what it's about. It's about fully remembering that you've done it in so many other lives and fully letting that embodiment come in. So it's not a matter of time. It doesn't have to take a long time, because we've done this so much before, especially if you're really aligned with what you're doing. But really, there's this thing that I talk about with some of my friends where you just turn it into a business, or you just turn it into a product before it really has time to settle in. And that's kind of like sharing your experiences, spiritual experiences, before they're ready. It's kind of the same thing, like sharing your gifts and talents before they're truly ready. So I feel like that's another reason why the people on the other side, on the needing the healing side, are going, why are those spiritual people asking for that money when they haven't even been doing it that long, or they don't know what they're doing? So there might be some intuition on that where it just might not be fully aligned yet. And so I like that. I like that there's the skeptics, and I like that there's people calling each other out. We need to have that. Now we need to be gracious, and we need to see where it's motivated from. Is it motivated because you feel bad because you don't have enough and you want that, or do you know what I mean? So it takes some self inquiry to see where that's going. And we have to be really kind to the people moving out of the system, because it is effing courageous. It is so courageous to step into your power and to step into the unknown and not know, like your security or whatever is gone, and you trust in the reality. That is like the ultimate walk of faith, walk of knowing. And so to really honor and cherish those people. And if you see anyone doing it, doing your utmost to support them in that in any way that you can. Because we really got to support each other in this, one at a time. You know what I mean? One at a time, all of a sudden it ends up being a lot of people. So one of the other areas that can get a little bit convoluted to watch out for along the way, along the journey, is this idea that spiritualism and some of these other categories too. In the old days, in the old tribe, in the old village, like the shaman was not a celebrity on Facebook. Do you know what I mean? So now all of a sudden there's this mixture, and I've talked about this in the shadow work video and other videos, but it's like we are at this time where there's a celebrityism to it, right? And where our expression can get like a little bit mixed up because it's like, well, I just want to post on Facebook, you know, because it's my authentic truth and I just want to share this. And then if you're then needing to make money from it, then you're like, I'm going to share this and hopefully I'll get 3 clients from this. And it starts to get a little bit convoluted, right, in the sharing. So we really extra need checks and balances within ourselves as we step into mixing spirituality and money and celebrity and power. It's like, oh boy. And we're seeing this pop up, gosh, all over the community, of really checking our egos and really checking the authentic motivations behind what we're doing, what we're putting out. And I have to check myself all the time. I'm constantly checks and balances just to make sure that it's pure, that it stays pure. And one of the ways that I like to do this, I mean, you can smell it. You can smell it a mile away. So you know, we're all empathic. We all know what's going on. And if it is a friend maybe that's doing it, maybe you can gently, in a very kind way, if it's available, like talk to them about it. Like we really just need to keep the conversation open about it. And one way that's a good indicator to know if it is in balance or not in balance, so we can look at the motivations of the person as to what they're doing, but we can also look at their actions and see if they align with us. So for instance, like me, like my own personal sovereignty movement, financial sovereignty as you could say, is to buy land, set up an amazing like farm situation, set up a community situation, and as soon as like I'm set up, then it's like, okay, any extra money will go to build communities and set people up to get extracted from the system. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. And so it's like that's what I'm doing with, say, the money that I'm getting is setting myself to be up to set other people up. And so you can see if that resonates with you, or if other people are doing certain things and they just want to have like big mansions for themselves and like sports cars and stuff, that's cool too. And that is showing people something, that's reflecting something that like maybe the people in the system are like, wow, I can still have the luxury items, you know. The actions though are important because we have to really stay as much in integrity and as much in wholeness and as much living and acting from the space of a unified oneness and truly caring about all of each other and making sure that we're all taken care of. And that's really important to me, as you can see. And so see if that resonates with you. See if that's a value that you have, because the values have changed, right? Like I've been saying in this video, the values used to be on spirit and be for the good of the one, for the good of the whole. And now in a lot of ways, it's for the good of the individual. And so we're coming back to this place of making sure to balance the good of the individual with the good of the whole. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of nuances. So in the end, should spiritual people make money? In the end, people offering value should always receive for that value. You could say it that way. If that's in the form of money, great. If that's in the form of trade or something else, even better. So definitely make sure to value each other, to take care of each other on this journey. It's so important that we make sure we're taken care of. And I really appreciate you watching this. Comment below to let me know what you think. I know this is kind of, I guess, controversial, and you might have different viewpoints. That's cool, that's awesome. These are just some of the points that I'm sharing at this moment with different experiences that I've had. And be sure to like, be sure to push the little bell button so you get notifications every time I do videos, and check me out on Instagram and Facebook for more daily activity. And I will see you next week with another new video.